The basement door was open. I didn't open it. No one else was home. And from the darkness below, I heard my daughter's voice singing, but my daughter was standing right beside me. Few people talk about what happens on Halloween night when the veil grows thin. Some say it's just superstition, old folklore meant to scare children. Others have seen things they can't explain, things that follow them home, things that wear familiar faces but move all wrong. This is a collection of 6 true encounters. 6 nights when Halloween stopped being a celebration and became something else entirely. Something that still visits people in their dreams. The forest behind Miller's property had always been quiet. Too quiet. On Halloween night in 2019, 3 teenagers decided to explore the old trail that locals avoided after dark. They brought flashlights, phones, and the kind of confidence that comes from not knowing better. The air was cold, unnaturally cold for October in Virginia. Their breath came out in thick clouds, hanging in the stillness like smoke. The trees stood motionless. No wind, no birds, no insects, just silence pressing against their ears. They were about half a mile in when Sarah noticed the smell. Sweet and rotten at the same time, like flowers left too long in water. She stopped walking.
Do you smell that?
The others nodded. They kept moving anyway. The trail curved left, deeper into the woods. That's when they saw the lights. Small flickering points floating between the trees. Dozens of them. Orange and pale yellow, hovering about chest height. Moving slowly, deliberately. Jack pulled out his phone to record. The screen flickered, died. Full battery gone in seconds. Mine too, whispered Emma. The lights began moving toward them. Slowly at first, then faster. The sweet smell grew stronger. Suffocating. Sarah felt her skin crawl. Something was wrong with those lights. They moved like they were attached to something. Something tall and thin that she couldn't quite see in the darkness. They ran. Branches whipped their faces. The trail disappeared. They crashed through undergrowth, stumbling over roots, gasping for air that tasted wrong. Behind them, the lights followed, silent, patient. Sarah tripped, fell hard. Her friends pulled her up, but when she looked back, the lights had stopped, just standing there at the edge of visibility, watching. They didn't stop running until they reached the road. When they finally looked back, the forest was dark, empty, normal. But Sarah's leg where she fell, the skin was marked. Thin red lines in a pattern she didn't recognize. Lines that burned when she touched them. Lines that, according to her grandmother, matched symbols from old protection warnings. Warnings about things that walk the woods on Halloween. Things that lure people deeper with lights that aren't fire. The marks faded after 3 days, but Sarah still won't go near those woods. Because sometimes, late at night, she sees those lights outside her bedroom window. Floating, waiting. Before the fear takes hold, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Here at Chills from Reality, every story leaves a mark. One you might not forget. The apartment building on 7th Street was old, built in 1923. Most of the units were empty by Halloween 2017, just a handful of residents left, waiting for the demolition date. Marcus lived on the 4th floor. Quiet guy, kept to himself. He worked night shifts at the hospital, so Halloween evening was his morning. He was making coffee when he heard the knocking. Soft, rhythmic, coming from apartment 412, the unit next door. That unit had been empty for 6 months? Marcus ignored it. Old buildings make noise, pipes settling, wind in the walls. He'd heard it all before. The knocking continued. Slow and steady. Knock, knock, knock. He checked the time. 7 p.m. Kids would be out trick-or-treating soon. Maybe some had gotten into the building. He walked to his door, looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty. The knocking stopped. Marcus went back to his coffee. The building was silent. That heavy silence that comes when you're alone in a space meant for many. He scrolled through his phone, trying to ignore the unease creeping up his spine. Then he heard it. A voice, muffled but clear, coming from apartment 412.
Help me!
Marcus froze. Please, help me. It was a woman's voice, weak, desperate. He grabbed his keys, went into the hallway. The door to 412 was closed, locked. He knocked.
Hello, are you okay?
Silence. He knocked again. I'm calling the super. Hold on. No, the voice said. Closer now, right against the door. Don't leave. Please don't leave me alone. Marcus's hand hovered over his phone. Something felt wrong. The voice sounded strange, too flat, like someone reading lines without emotion. Who are you? He asked. I'm scared, the voice replied. It's so dark in here. How did you get in there?
Pause.
I've always been here. Marcus stepped back. The door was old wood, scratched and worn. In the dim hallway light, he noticed something. Dark stains around the doorframe. Old stains. The kind that soak deep into wood. What's your name? He asked. The voice didn't answer right away. When it did, it sounded different. Layered. Like multiple voices speaking in unison. You should come in. I'm lonely. The door handle began to turn, slowly, from the inside. Marcus ran, back to his apartment. Locked the door. Called the building super. The super came up 20 minutes later with a master key. They opened apartment 412 together. Empty, completely empty. Dust thick on the floor, no footprints, no furniture. Just bare walls and broken windows. The super checked every corner. No one had been inside that apartment for months, maybe years. But in the bedroom on the far wall, someone had written something, scratched into the plaster with something sharp. Thank you for talking to me. The letters were fresh. Plaster dust still on the floor beneath them. Marcus moved out the next week. The building was demolished 3 months later. But during those final months, other residents reported hearing the knocking, the voice, always asking for help, always begging people not to leave. Construction workers found something during demolition. Behind the wall of apartment 412, human remains. A woman. She'd been there for decades. The police report suggested she'd been sealed in during renovation work in 1974. Probably died trying to get someone's attention. Knocking, calling out, waiting for help that never came. Until Halloween night, when the veil grows thin and the dead remember how to ask for help. The Riverside Halloween Festival was in full swing. Music, lights, families everywhere. The corn maze was the main attraction. 20,000 square feet of towering stalks lit by string lights and jack-o'-lanterns. Rebecca and her son Tyler went in at 8:30 p.m. Tyler was 7, dressed as a pirate, excited and fearless the way children are before the world teaches them otherwise. The maze was crowded at first. Groups of teenagers, families with small children. Everyone laughing, jumping at the volunteer actors who popped out from hidden spots. Good-natured screams and giggles echoing through the corridors of corn. Rebecca and Tyler moved deeper into the maze. The crowds thinned. The laughter grew distant. The path twisted and turned, deliberately confusing. Tyler ran ahead, following the glow of jack-o'-lanterns marking the trail.
Stay where I can see you, Rebecca called.
Tyler laughed, turned a corner. Rebecca followed. But when she rounded the corner, Tyler wasn't there. The path split 3 ways. No sign of which way he'd gone.
Tyler?
No answer. She checked her phone. No signal. Expected in a corn maze. She picked the middle path, walked faster. The string lights here were darker. Some burned out. The corn stalks pressed closer, rustling despite the lack of wind. Tyler, this isn't funny. She heard giggling. Tyler's giggle, coming from the left path. She turned, followed the sound, but the giggling moved. Always ahead, always just out of sight. The maze felt different now. Wrong. The paths seemed to stretch longer than they should. The lights flickered. She passed the same broken scarecrow twice. Impossible in a maze this size. Then she heard Tyler scream, a real scream, terror and pain. Rebecca ran, crashed through the cornstalks, abandoning the path. The stalks cut her arms, tangled her legs. She screamed Tyler's name over and over. She burst into a small clearing. Tyler was there, standing perfectly still, facing away from her, facing a figure. The figure was tall, impossibly tall, wearing burlap and rags stitched together. A scarecrow. But scarecrows don't move. This one was moving, tilting its head, studying Tyler with button eyes that caught the moonlight wrong. "Tyler, come here, now!" Tyler didn't move. "Tyler!" He turned his head, looked at her, but his expression was blank, empty, like he was sleepwalking. The scarecrow reached out one long arm, fingers made of sticks wrapped in cloth, inches from Tyler's shoulder. Rebecca lunged, grabbed Tyler, pulled him back. The scarecrow's hand missed by inches. She didn't look back, just ran, dragging Tyler through the corn. He was limp, heavy. She half carried, half dragged him. She found the exit by accident. Stumbled out into the festival lights and noise. People everywhere, normal, safe. Tyler was crying, shaking. He wouldn't talk about what he saw, wouldn't say what the scarecrow told him, but for weeks afterward, he had nightmares. Always the same dream. Standing in a corn maze, something tall behind him, whispering his name. Rebecca tried to report what happened. Festival organizers said they had no tall scarecrow actor, no one fitting that description. The maze employed only 3 actors that night, all accounted for. But other parents came forward. Other children had seen the tall scarecrow, had been found standing still, staring at nothing. One little girl said it showed her where she came from. Another boy said it told him his real name, the name from before he was born. The festival shut down the corn maze early that year. When they dismantled it the next day, they found something in the center. An old scarecrow, ancient. The cloth was decades old, rotted and stained. But no one remembered putting it there. No one knew where it came from. They burned it. All of it. The ashes scattered. But every Halloween since, children in Riverside report seeing a tall figure in the fields, watching them, waiting, and sometimes, in the morning, farmers find small footprints in their corn, child-sized footprints, leading deep into the maze of stalks, leading nowhere. The highway rest stop was empty. 3 a.m. on Halloween night, just one other car in the parking lot. David was driving cross-country. Tired, eyes burning, he needed coffee and a bathroom break. The building was old, fluorescent lights buzzing, vending machines humming. The bathroom door creaked when he pushed it open. He was washing his hands when he noticed the mirror. It was fogged, which was strange because the bathroom was cold. No hot water had been running, but the fog was there, thick, covering the entire mirror surface. And someone had written in it.
"Turn around."
David froze. Water dripped from his hands. The bathroom was empty. He'd checked the stalls when he came in. All empty. He looked back at the mirror. The fog was spreading, fresh, like someone was breathing on it, right in front of him. New words appeared, written by an invisible hand. I said, "Turn around." David's heart hammered. He spun around. The bathroom was empty. White tiles, flickering light, nothing else. When he looked back at the mirror, more words. "Not fast enough. I was behind you." His skin crawled. He backed toward the door. The fog on the mirror grew thicker. Words appearing faster now. "Don't leave. I've been alone so long. Everyone always leaves." David grabbed the door handle. It didn't move. Locked. But he hadn't locked it. Rest stop bathrooms don't lock from the inside. Please stay. Just talk to me. Just for a little while." The fluorescent light flickered, died. The bathroom plunged into darkness. David's breathing was loud in his ears. Too loud, because underneath it, he could hear something else. Another breath right next to him, in the darkness. Why won't anyone stay? The voice wasn't coming from the mirror anymore. It was coming from right beside him, close enough to feel the cold air of words spoken inches from his ear. David slammed his shoulder into the door. Once, twice. The lock gave. He crashed into the hallway. The lights out here were working, bright and normal. He looked back. The bathroom was dark, but in the doorway, he could see the mirror. The fog was gone. The glass was clear, except for one thing. A handprint. Small, child-sized, pressed against the glass from inside the mirror. David ran, got in his car, drove, didn't stop until sunrise. He researched the rest stop later, found an old news article from 1983. A child had gone missing there, 5 years old, disappeared from the bathroom while his father was getting coffee. Never found. Search dogs lost the trail at the bathroom door, like he'd simply vanished. The rest stop shut down in 1995, reopened in 2001 after renovations. But maintenance workers refused to clean the bathrooms alone. Said they heard voices, felt watched, found messages written in steam and fog. Always the same message. Don't leave me here. The child's name was Daniel. He'd been wearing a Halloween costume that night. A ghost, white sheet with eye holes cut out. His father said he'd only looked away for a second. Just 1 second. Some say Daniel is still looking for his father. Still waiting in that bathroom, still asking people to stay. Just for a little while. Just until his dad comes back. The old Blackwood house sat at the end of Maple Street. Empty for years. Windows broken, porch sagging. Every neighborhood has a house like this. The one kids dare each other to approach. The one parents warn their children to avoid. On Halloween 2020, 4 college students decided to explore it. Urban exploration was trendy. Abandoned places made good content. They brought cameras, flashlights, and confidence that youth provides before experience takes it away. They entered through the back door. Easy. Already broken. Inside, the house was exactly what they expected. Dust, debris, graffiti, the smell of mold and decay. Nothing supernatural, just an old house dying slowly. They spread out to explore, cameras recording, looking for the best shots. Emma went upstairs. The stairs creaked but held. The second-floor hallway stretched long and dark, doors on either side. All closed. She picked the first door on the right, master bedroom probably. She pushed it open. The room was furnished. Not abandoned. Furnished. Bed made. Dresser clean. Lamp on the nightstand. Everything neat. Normal. Like someone still lived here. Emma's breath caught. This didn't make sense. She called for the others. Her voice echoed strange in the house. Too loud. Too clear. No one answered. She stepped into the room. Her footsteps were silent. No creaking floorboards. The dust in the hallway didn't extend here. The room was clean, cared for. On the dresser, there were photos, family photos. But the faces were wrong, blurred, like someone had smudged them before the photos developed. Emma picked one up. The frame was warm, recently handled. "Are you lost?" Emma spun around. A woman stood in the doorway, middle-aged, wearing a dress from the 1950s, hair pinned back. She smiled, but her eyes were empty, flat, like painted eyes on a doll. I'm sorry," Emma stammered. "I didn't know anyone lived here." "Oh, we don't mind visitors on Halloween," the woman said. Her smile didn't move. "Would you like to stay for dinner? We're having guests." Emma backed away. The woman didn't move, just stood there, smiling. "I should go. My friends are waiting."
Your friends? The woman tilted her head. You came alone, dear.
"No, they're downstairs. We came together." The woman's smile widened, impossibly wide, stretching her face in ways faces shouldn't stretch. "There's no downstairs anymore. Don't you remember?" Emma ran past past the woman. The hallway was different now, longer. The doors were open. In each room, she saw people, families, all dressed in old clothes, all turning to look at her with those flat, empty eyes, all smiling. She found the stairs, ran down, but the house had changed. The walls were different. Wallpaper instead of bare plaster. Furniture in the rooms. Lights on. The front door had a lock now. A lock from the inside. The old kind. The kind meant to keep people in. Emma's hand shook as she tried to open it. Behind her, she heard footsteps. Slow. Multiple people. Coming down the stairs. Coming down the hallway. "Don't go!" voices called. "Stay for dinner. We never have visitors anymore." The lock turned. The door opened. Emma fell through, landed on the porch. The cold Halloween night air hit her face. She looked back. The house was dark, abandoned, broken windows, no lights, no furniture visible through the gaps. Just an empty, dead house. Her friends found her 20 minutes later, sitting on the sidewalk, shaking. They'd been searching everywhere, said she'd disappeared. 1 second she was there, the next she was gone. They'd searched the whole house, calling her name. 30 minutes of searching. But Emma had been inside for less than 5 minutes. Her camera had recorded it all. 5 minutes of footage. The clean room, the photos, the woman. Except when they played it back, the footage was wrong. The room was empty, abandoned like the rest of the house. No furniture, no woman, just Emma's voice talking to nothing, backing away from empty air, running from empty rooms. But in the last frame, before she reached the stairs, the camera caught something. Reflections in a broken mirror. Figures, dozens of them, standing behind Emma, reaching for her. Faces from different decades, different families. All the people who'd ever lived in that house, still living there, still waiting for guests. The Blackwood house burned down in 2021. Electrical fire, they said. But when firefighters entered, they found something strange. Table settings in the dining room, plates and silverware arranged for 12 people. Candles recently lit, food on the plates, still warm. The house had been abandoned for 15 years. No electricity, no gas, no way for food to be warm or candles to be lit. But there it was, a dinner party, waiting for guests who never came. Would you have stayed for dinner? Or would you have run like Emma? Tell me in the comments below, because sometimes the scariest invitations are the ones that seem harmless. The last story comes from a small town in Maine, population 800. The kind of place where everyone knows everyone, where Halloween means kids trick-or-treating on Main Street while parents chat on porches. Safe, normal, except for the Patterson farm. The farm sat 2 miles outside town, been there for generations. Old Ben Patterson lived alone after his wife died in 2015, kept to himself mostly. But every Halloween, he left a bowl of candy on his porch with a note. "Take one, please. Happy Halloween." On Halloween 2018, a group of kids decided to trick-or-treat out there. 6 of them, ages 9 to 12. Their parents said, "Okay, safe town, safe kids." They knew the Patterson farm. Ben was harmless. The kids arrived just after dark. The farmhouse was lit, porch light on, the bowl of candy was there, full-sized bars, the good stuff. The note read the same as always. "Take one, please. Happy Halloween." They each took one, started to leave. Then little Sophie noticed something. The front door was open, just a crack, and from inside, they could hear music. Old music. Big band stuff from the 1940s. "Mr. Patterson?" Sophie called. No answer. The music kept playing, cheerful, upbeat. Completely wrong for a house that felt so heavy, so still. The oldest kid, Marcus, pushed the door open wider. "Mr. Patterson, are you okay?" The house was dark inside, except for one room. The living room. Light spilled from the doorway. Warm, inviting. The music was louder now, along with voices, laughter, like a party. The kids looked at each other. Something felt wrong. But they could hear people having fun. Maybe Mr. Patterson had guests. Maybe he needed help with something. They stepped inside. The living room was full of people. 20, maybe 30, all dressed in old costumes. Vintage Halloween costumes from decades ago. Witches with pointed hats. Ghosts in white sheets. Devils with cardboard pitchforks. They were dancing, talking, drinking punch from a crystal bowl. But nobody looked at the kids. Nobody acknowledged them at all. "Mr. Patterson?" Marcus called louder. One of the figures turned, an old woman in a witch costume. She smiled. Her face was heavily made up. White powder, dark lipstick. But underneath the makeup, her skin looked wrong. Gray, waxy. "Oh, good," she said. Her voice sounded distant, like it was coming from far away. "The children are here. We can start the games now." All the figures stopped moving, turned to look at the kids, all smiling, all silent except for the music which kept playing, the same song on loop. "We should go," whispered Sophie. "Yes," said the witch woman. "You should go. But first, the games. We always play games on Halloween, don't we, Benjamin?" A figure stepped forward from the crowd. Mr. Patterson, wearing a scarecrow costume, straw hat, flannel shirt, painted smile on his face, but his eyes were empty, staring, like he was looking through the children instead of at them.
"Games," he repeated. His voice was flat, mechanical.
The other figures began to move closer, slowly, surrounding the children, still smiling, still silent except for the music. Marcus grabbed Sophie's hand. "Run!" They ran, back through the house. The figures didn't chase them, just watched. Smiling, the music followed them, playing from every room, getting louder, more distorted. They burst out the front door, into the cold night. Behind them, the farmhouse was dark. The music stopped. The lights were off, like someone had flipped a switch. The kids ran all the way back to town, told their parents. Police went to check, found Mr. Patterson in his living room, sitting in his chair, dead. The coroner said he'd been dead for at least 3 days. Natural causes. Heart attack, probably. The house was empty. No party, no people, no vintage costumes, just an old man who died alone. The music player was there, broken, hadn't worked in years according to the dust inside. But in the living room, police found something strange. The furniture had been moved, arranged in a circle, like someone had been dancing. And on the floor, in the dust, there were footprints, dozens of them, different sizes, different shoe styles from different decades. And children's footprints, 6 sets, leading into the circle, but not leading out. The kids were fine, physically, but they all had the same nightmare for months afterward. They dreamed they hadn't left, that they'd stayed for the games, that they danced with the figures in vintage costumes while the music played forever. And in the dreams, they realized the truth. The figures weren't wearing costumes. That was just what death looked like in their decades. How they died. How they'd looked at their last Halloween, still celebrating, still having fun, still waiting for guests to join the party that never ends. The Patterson farm stands empty now. Nobody will buy it. Nobody will go near it. But every Halloween, people driving past report seeing lights in the windows, hearing music, seeing figures moving behind the curtains, dancing, celebrating, waiting for children to knock on the door and join the eternal Halloween party. If this story made your heart race, hit that like button and subscribe. Because here at Chills from Reality, the fear doesn't end when the story does. These are the truths we whisper, the encounters that change people, the moments when Halloween stops being fun and becomes something darker, something older. 6 stories, 6 nights when the veil between worlds grew thin enough to touch. Some people say Halloween is just a holiday, just costumes and candy and harmless fun. But those people haven't walked alone in the woods, haven't heard voices from empty rooms, haven't seen the figures that watch from the shadows, haven't felt the cold touch of something that shouldn't exist. The truth is simpler and more terrifying. One night a year, the dead remember they used to be alive. They remember parties and laughter and children trick-or-treating in the street. They remember warmth and light and the feeling of being real. And they want it back. So, if you hear knocking at your door late on Halloween night, check before you answer. If you see lights moving in the forest, maybe don't follow them. If someone invites you to stay, to join them, to play their games, maybe remember these stories. Remember what happened to the people who said yes. Because Halloween is the one night when the dead walk among us, when they knock on our doors, when they ask for help or invite us to parties or whisper secrets in bathroom mirrors. They look real, they sound real, they feel real, until you realize they're not. And by then, it might be too late. Sweet dreams and happy Halloween. The darkness is patient. It waits all year for this one night. The night when we invite it in, when we dress as monsters and walk among shadows and pretend we're not afraid. But we should be. We really should be.